अस्सलाम वालेकुम। क्या हाल है आप सबके? ठीक ठाक है यकीनन। आज का जो हमारा सेशन है वो हम अभी उसके बारे में मैं इंट्रोडक्शन दे देता हूँ। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल थैंक यू टू ऑल ऑफ यू कि आप सब लोग आए हैं। और जो आज का सेशन है वो यकीनन इस उम्मीद के साथ हम स्टार्ट करेंगे कि वो आज भी आपके लिए बहुत ज़्यादा हेल्पफुल होगा। जैसे कि हमने लास्ट सेशन के अंदर डिस्कशन किया था। सबसे पहले मुझे ये बता दें, आप सब लोगों को मेरी आवाज़ लाउड एंड क्लियर आ रही है? किसी को कोई प्रॉब्लम? चैट बॉक्स के अंदर जो है, क्वेश्चन बॉक्स के अंदर आप यस टाइप करके मुझे कंफर्मेशन दे सकते हैं। जी थैंक यू जी। आवाज़ जो है वो सबको आ रही है। साउंड इज़ वेरी लाउड एंड क्लियर। जो हमारा आज का सेशन है वो हमने लास्ट टाइम डिस्कस किया था। हम इंटरव्यू स्किल्स के ऊपर ही हमने गाइडेंस ली थी जवाद साहब के साथ। जवाद साहब आज फिर हमारे साथ हैं, उनका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। आज भी उन्होंने टाइम निकाला, अपना बहुत ज़्यादा कीमती टाइम है उनका, जो उन्होंने ACC फर्टर्निटी के लिए स्पेसिफिकली एलोकेट किया। सो हमने जो क्वेश्चंस लास्ट टाइम डिस्कस किए थे और जो हमने जिसकी गाइडेंस ली थी, ऐसे क्वेश्चंस जो कि इंटरव्यूअर जो है, एम्प्लॉयर जो है, ड्यूरिंग द इंटरव्यू वो आपसे पूछता है, डिस्कस करता है आपसे, तो उसका बेस्ट से बेस्ट आंसर क्या होना चाहिए या एम्प्लॉयर क्या एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा होता है, उसके ऊपर जवाब साहब ने और एज वेल एज मैंने इसके ऊपर हमने काफ़ी डिस्कशन भी की थी और गाइडेंस भी दी थी। सो सबसे पहले जो हमारी की आज की मेथोडोलॉजी होगी, वो मेथोडोलॉजी क्या होगी, वही क्वेश्चंस हम जो हैं आज हम उसकी प्रैक्टिकल एप्लीकेशन करेंगे। प्रैक्टिकल एप्लीकेशन में जो हम करेंगे, हम वही उन्हीं क्वेश्चंस को हमने जो डिस्कस किया था, फाइनलाइज किया था, लॉक्ड किया था, वो ये था कि हम फाइनेंशियल एनालिस्ट की पोजीशन के लिए इंटरव्यू करेंगे और वो एक होगा रिटेल सेक्टर के लिए। और अब वही क्वेश्चंस हम एक क्वेश्चन उठाएंगे, जवाब साहब एक क्वेश्चन है वो पूछते हैं, वो ऑडियंस में से जो भी एसएससी फर्टर्निटी इस टाइम पे ऑनलाइन है हमें नजर आ रहा है, हम वो एक क्वेश्चन किसी भी एक मेंबर से पूछेंगे और वो मेंबर जो है उसका आंसर देगा। ठीक है। अच्छा, अब यहाँ पे बात है कॉन्फिडेंस की। यू डोंट नीड टू वरी एट ऑल। हम यहाँ पे सिर्फ इसलिए बैठे हैं ताकि आप लोगों की गाइडेंस, आप लोगों को हम इम्प्रूव कर सके, गाइडेंस दे सकें। सो अगर आपसे कोई क्वेश्चन पूछा जाता है तो आपने परेशान नहीं होना, आपको जो होता है आप उसका आंसर दें ताकि हम उसको फिर करेक्ट कर सकें। और यही करेक्शन जो है वो सब मेंबर्स के लिए, सब एसएससी फर्टर्निटी के लिए क्या होगा, फायदेमंद होगा। तो एक क्वेश्चन वन बाय वन क्वेश्चंस करते चले जाएंगे, और कोई क्वेश्चंस अगर आपको मजीद पूछने हैं कि इनका क्या आंसर होना चाहिए, वो क्वेश्चन भी जो है आप क्वेश्चन बॉक्स के अंदर, चैट बॉक्स के अंदर आप ड्रावर लिख सकते हैं ताकि हम उसका आंसर दे दें। जवाब साहब, नाउ यहाँ पे आप कुछ कहना चाहेंगे? मैं चाहूंगा आप भी ऑडियंस से जरा एक स्टार्ट ओवर कन्वर्सेशन कर लें थोड़ी सी, और फिर हम शुरू करते हैं।
Assalamualaikum ji, assalamualaikum everyone. Again, it's nice to have you all. Or again, thanks to ACC for inviting us over here to help you guys out, to support you guys out, to be ready for the market. So, अगर yesterday conversation में continue करें तो we have asked you कि आप अपना prepare कीजिएगा day before yesterday, तो आप prepare कीजिएगा for the position of financial analyst for the retail for the FMCG retail organization. So उसी कॉन्टेक्स्ट के अंदर हम क्वेश्चंस करेंगे, अंडरस्टूड फ्रॉम असलान साहब की जी। हम क्वेश्चंस करेंगे और फिर हम आप में से अपनी मर्जी से कोई भी जो इंडिविजुअल हमारे सामने आ रहे हैं, वी विल सिलेक्ट देम आउट। सो वी वुड लाइक यू टू बी अटेंटिव एट लीस्ट। और मेरी रिक्वेस्ट करिए कि इस सेशन को कंप्लीटली यूटिलाइज करें फॉर फ्यूचर। डोंट टेक इट just for granted. That's my only request to you guys. So inshallah, looking forward to a wonderful session.
थैंक यू जवाद। बिल्कुल आपने अटेंटिव रहना है इस सेशन के अंदर, और जब हम किसी से भी क्वेश्चन कर रहे हो तो आपने अपना आंसर भी मीनवाइल कुछ सोचना है कि अगर आप होते इस पोजीशन पे तो आप क्या जवाब देते। ये वाहिद सेशन होगा जिसमें आपको ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग करने का मौका मिलेगा। ठीक है। सो पहला क्वेश्चन मैं ही स्टार्ट करता हूँ, और वो क्वेश्चन जो है स्टार्ट में करता हूँ जी सबसे पहले जी अरबाब शौकत से। अरबाब शौकत, आप फाइनेंशियल एनालिस्ट की पोजीशन के लिए आए हैं और रिटेल सेक्टर के लिए। माय फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन, मैं आपको अनम्यूट करने चाह रहा हूँ जी। अरबाब शौकत, मेरा ये क्वेश्चन है कि फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज हाउ टू इंट्रोड्यूस योरसेल्फ।
Assalamu alaikum ji. Thank you very much for the opportunity here. My name is Arbab Shaukat ji. I'm a finance professional and I've been working in the field of finance for the last 6 years. Currently, I'm operating as a freelance financial consultant, and my forte has been financial planning analysis, corporate finance, and treasury management. I've done budgeting and planning analysis for IT sector, manufacturing sector, and food and beverage sector. Currently, I have worked in Pakistan and UAE as well. So this is about a little bit of a background.
जी जी जवाद, ये इनका आंसर था और इसमें कुछ चीजें मुझे मिसिंग लगी हैं, लेकिन फर्स्ट गाइडेंस फ्रॉम योर साइड जवाद.
Abab, thank you very much. First of all, was nice answer. It could have been a bit better अगर आप you could have specifically talked about the industry you have worked for और जो मेजर अचीवमेंट्स थी या मेजर आपके जो रोल पर्सपेक्टिव जो आप रोल कर रहे थे, सब क्या अचीवमेंट्स थी, दैट वुड हैव बीन, बिकॉज आप जब आंसर को कटेल कर देते हो और फिर आप इंटरव्यू के बोर्ड पे बॉल डाल देते हैं तो फिर अपनी मर्जी से आगे सवाल करता है वो आपसे. तो अगर आप इनिशियली अपनी स्ट्रेंथ्स को बता देते हैं तो वो समहाउ कंस्ट्रेंट हो जाता है, या तो उसकी स्ट्रेंथ्स के दरमियान में बात करने के लिए, या फिर वो एक नया क्वेश्चन पूछता है विच इज लाइक रेलेवेंट टू द सेम डिस्कशन या कैरी ऑन होती है. अदरवाइज ये कि वो थोड़ा सा इंटरव्यूअर भी आपको रूम प्ले करने का दे देते हैं जब आप अपना आंसर प्रिसाइज कर देते हो. सो योर स्टार्ट वाज वेरी गुड कि जी आपका आपने प्रायर एक्सपीरियंस बता दिया, यू कुड हैव टोल्ड अबाउट द इंडस्ट्री, अपने रोल जो आपने परफॉर्म करे थे उसको थोड़ा सा फर्दर इनहांस करना. एंड थर्ड थिंग इज लाइक एक चीज़ मिस होगी वो इनिशियली कि आपने इनिशियली कह दिया मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इंडस्ट्री में और उसमें काम करके हम रिटेल इंडस्ट्री के लिए आए हुए हैं. सो आई डू एग्री कि आप यहाँ पे आपको इसी पहले क्वेश्चन के अंदर ही अपना कॉन्फिडेंस शो करने के लिए यू हैव टू लिंक इट समहाउ कि क्या ऐसी एक्टिविटीज थी जो बिग डाटा से रिलेटेड, डाटा से रिलेटेड आप कर सकते थे जो इस पार्टिकुलर एनालिसिस में आपको हेल्प आउट कर सकेंगे. अदरवाइज सब ऐसा भी होता है जब आप अगर 5वें या 6ठे या 7वें कैंडिडेट होते हैं तो इंटरव्यूअर भी जो है ना उसका तो थक चुका होता है. तो वो या तो उसे पहले कैंडिडेट पसंद आया होता है जिसका क्वेश्चन के जवाब उसे मिल चुके होते हैं, पार्टिकुलरली व्हाट ही वांट्स टू लिसन को मिल चुका होता है, सब अपॉर्चुनिटी लूज कर जाते हैं इसमें. सो जितना पहले जब इंट्रोड्यूस करवा रहे जितना हम उसमें अपना पे एक्सप्रेसिव कर सकते हैं दैट बी much better. But still I would say your answer was good, but could have been much more linked to the retail side and an financial analyst position perspective.
जी थैंक यू जवाद, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फीडबैक. अब मैं इसको मज़ीद अगर मैं अपने आप को इस जगह पे रखता तो मैं इसका आंसर क्या देता. एक आप लोगों के लिए एग्जांपल के तौर पे मैं कहता जी आई एम हाफिज अरसलान शब्बीर एंड आई एम FCCA. आई हैव स्टार्टेड माय करियर फ्रॉम KPMG तस्वीर हादी एंड कंपनी एंड आफ्टरवर्ड्स आई हैव जॉइंड हार्वर्ड हुसैन चौधरी एंड कंपनी चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स. ये दोनों जो फर्म्स हैं दीज आर बेसिकली ऑडिट फर्म्स. उसके बाद मैंने इंडस्ट्री ज्वाइन की थी. इंडस्ट्री में मैंने जी जनाब चेनवन ग्रुप को ज्वाइन किया था विच इज़ दी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंसर्न, और उधर मेरी ये पोजीशन थी. और साथ ही मैं इसको ये भी अलाइन कर देता जी आफ्टरवर्ड्स आई हैव ज्वाइंड हाइमंड फार्मास्यूटिकल्स विच इज आल्सो दी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंसर्न एंड आई वाज देयर एट ग्रुप हेड ऑफ ऑडिट इंटरनल ऑडिट एंड कंप्लायंस. और उसके साथ साथ करंटली मैं फिर उसको बता देता एम्प्लॉयर को, करंटली आई एम वर्किंग एज इन दिस कंपनी फ्रॉम दिस पोजीशन, जहां पे मेरी ओवरऑल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज जिनको मैं क्लब कर देता, क्यूमुलेटेड रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज बता देता कि फ्रॉम टॉप टू डाउन मैं ये मेरी स्ट्रेंथ थी, ये मेरी रोल्स एंड रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज थी. तो इस आंसर के अंदर आपने अपने तीनों शॉर्ट आंसर के अंदर आपने अपने तीनों एम्प्लॉयर्स के नाम भी बता दिए, आपने उनकी इंडस्ट्री भी बता दी, और आपने उनका अपना एट देन रोल्स एंड रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज भी बता. तो मैं ये समझता हूँ कि ये आंसर इस तरह से भी बन सकते हैं.
Yes, sir. Ruslan, if I can jump in here, this is Haroon. When we started this program, so sorry, my net was not working, so I had to resort to other devices. So when we started this program, you know, we did an exercise on a 30-second introduction. और I think जो अरबाब हैं where he's coming from, उसकी काफी प्रैक्टिस भी की. और you know Sajid was you know explaining to them कि आपने 30-second introduction में क्या चीजें मेंशन करनी है क्या नहीं करनी. उसके अंदर एक चीज हाईलाइट हुई थी कि आपको in a 30-second introduction which is very brief, आपको organizations के नाम मेंशन करने की जरूरत नहीं है, because it will seem as if you are using these organizations to promote your own brand. Instead, you should focus on your capability set and your skill set. And fine, मैं जवाद के साथ agree करता हूँ कि आपको अपना sector और of work बताना चाहिए, but आपको immediately switch करना चाहिए on your achievements. कि this is who I am, this is where I work, this is what my achievement is, which might trigger a conversation. So ये एक exercise इनके साथ हुई थी. Probably अरबाब जो है, he's coming from that background, वो पहले सेशन अटेंड किया हुआ है, so इस वजह से शायद उन्होंने नहीं किए ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के नाम. बट इफ द इंडस्ट्री फील्स के नई ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के नाम मेंशन करना इंपॉर्टेंट है, तो आई थिंक वो 30 सेकंड इंट्रोडक्शन था, एक एलिवेटर पिच. It was not for an interview though. If you feel that in an interview it can be more focused, it can be specific because your resume has those details and the other person has your resume in front of him, so you may advise them that. So अभी मेरा ख्याल है probably जो audience बैठी हुई है वो probably अपना knowledge use कर रहे हैं from the initial sessions, जहाँ 30 seconds के अंदर elevator pitch में ये कहा गया था कि आपने brand names नहीं लेने हैं, आपने अपना brand develop करना है. So your opinion on that?
I agree with Harun Saab ji. It's 30 second introduction and your elevator pitch is important. I do agree. अब देखिए, I would always say कि situation चीज vary कर रही होती है. अब जैसे अगर मैं इंसाफी की बात करूँ, the guy who just answered, तो उसमें he doesn't have a retail sector experience. तो उस particular तो उस particular perspective के अंदर you don't need to even mention the industry because it might not help you out with that. उसमें ये कि आपने फिर आंसर को tailor कर देना है towards your expertise in the role, towards the expertise of the role or down there कि अपने इंट्रोडक्शन के अंदर. हाँ, अगर आप रिटेल सेक्टर का आपका प्रायर एक्सपीरियंस है तो वहाँ पे आपको हेल्प आउट हो जाती है because you immediately the interviewer gets the attention कि अच्छा यार इसका प्रायर एक्सपीरियंस रिटेल का है, तो वो थोड़ा सा और फोकस हो जाता है अपने डिस्कशन में. सो जहाँ पे आपका रिटेल का एक्सपीरियंस है आप इंडस्ट्री लास्ट मेंशन कर दें. जस्ट इन केस रिटेल का एक्सपीरियंस ही नहीं रहा हुआ तो फिर शायद आई डू एग्री विद साहब इन दैट पर्सपेक्टिव. Probably it might go the other way around as well. So situation it get varies, but but to me that first 30 seconds sets the tone for the rest of the interview.
Thank you, Jawad. Thank you, Harun, for your feedback. Jawad, let's move to the second question. Now it's your turn. Ask the second question from the any member.
So, अब ये कि initially first 35 minutes we will keep on the position perspective and later on we come to the personality perspective because हमने जो कल major questions discuss किए थे they were more towards the personality perspective और related थे आपकी weaknesses पे. So we will first study 35 seconds. I would like to let you know how does if I am hiring for the financial analyst position तो मैं क्या questions उधर आपसे पूछ रहा हूँ या पूछना चाहूँगा. So I would take Haseeb Anwar Rana is there probably. I'm unmuting him if I have the option. Yes, I have the option. Yes, so Haseeb can. Okay, perfect. So my question from Haseeb is like, what are where you feel yourself, your strengths in terms of financial analyst role? See, can you hear us?
Since Haseeb, you are unmuted, you can unmute yourself.
I think probably he is not with us. Probably.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sorry, sir. I was unable to unmute me. Okay, sir. Sorry, can you repeat your question?
Question is, share with us your strengths regarding the financial analyst role. Where do you feel your strengths are in terms of this particular financial analyst role?
Yes, sir. I can explain you about the financial analyst expertise. My sir, currently मैं अभी फिलहाल तकरीबन एक कंपनी के लिए एडवाइजर भी काम कर रहा हूँ. उनकी जो मेन एरिया उनकी बिजनेस फोरकास्ट और उनकी मैं वीकली और मंथली बेसिस पे उनकी बिजनेस फोरकास्ट वगैरह बना के देना मेरा रोल है. और प्लस उनका एक जो सिस्टम उनका है वो उनके डिफरेंट ब्रांचेज हैं, उनकी ब्रांचेज की मैंने एवेल्यूएशन उनकी एरिया वाइज उनको एडवाइस करना होता है कि आप हम किस किस एरिया के अंदर अपनी ब्रांचेज ओपन कर सकते हैं, और वो टोटली मेरा डिपेंड कर रहा होता है मेरी फोरकास्ट की बेस पे, उनके एरिया वाइज जो उनकी कस्टमर की फ्लो है वो उसकी बेस पे है उनकी, और सारी पूरी की पूरी मेरी जो और डिफरेंट अजम्पशन है कुछ उनकी बेस पे सारे का सारा मैं डिसीजन लेकर उनको बता रहा होता हूँ। Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Ji Aslan, you want to have any feedback on the?
Jawad, I think you carry on.
Okay, the thing is like in terms of strength of financial analyst role, if we speak about this particular position that is more towards analysis in terms of your results, whether it be future, past, and as well as future prediction as well. The results is respect to the history and then prediction in terms of the future as well. So this is how the answer should be tailored, and your strengths could be probably is the one thing which, particularly in terms of retail, any of the interviewers looking at, especially on finance side, is your ability to analyze big data. So believe me or not, but if you are not aware of the big data perspective or analysis of big data in terms of retail as of today, especially FMCG retail, the chances of getting into FMCG retail sector is minimal as far as the financial analyst role is concerned, because the quantum of data which any financial analyst within the FMCG retail is concerned is humongous. It's beyond the imagination of a person who is not into that particular sector. I work for a hypermarket, and the quantum of data with respect to number of SKUs, we are talking about 200,000 SKUs. Then we are talking about 10 to 20,000 vendors per day, and based and like million plus customers a day. So that sort of a data we are talking about when once we say FMCG. That's the reason why I particularly told at that point in time that we will be looking at the financial analyst for FMCG retail. So FMCG retail, without talking about big data in terms of your strength of financial analyst, would be difficult say. So whenever you are going there, and if somebody asks me that what are your strengths in terms of financial analyst, so I would first of all say my ability to analyze big data. Second one is I will be sharing my any of my previous experiences with respect to that. And third one is like my achievements. Once like what I've done in terms of financial analyst in the past, and how that helped the organization in achieving the results they wanted. Or what sort of achievements in terms of maybe cost savings, or maybe better analysis in terms of or better sales prediction in days to come, and so on and so forth. Like like for the sake of an example, in my initial days with my one of the apparel retail industries, in terms of my major role, financial analysis was part of it. So one of the major achievements in terms is like after the analysis of data, we have been able to control the inventory, which we were which we called in terms of retail term we call replenishment. Replenishment is the inventory which is like replaced in the stores every passing day. Like you send the inventory to the store, it gets sold, and afterward you have to keep the inventory aligned within the stores. So the replenishment is important, because if what was happening is like we were not analyzing at that point in time in a good way, and we are sending inventory across the board in the same way. It means like we are not analyzing that X store is having more women penetration and Y store has more men penetration. So we should have planned the inventory accordingly. So with financial, the one of the role of financial analyst down there is like to analyze that what sort of inventory is being sold at X store, what sort of inventory is being sold at Y store. So based on that analysis, once it's been done properly, we have been able to replenish the inventory well. So this is one of the achievements. No, this is where it comes from. This is one of the strengths the financial analyst can tell that if somebody has that experience, he can tell that in my previous organizations, through my role as a financial analyst, we have been able to curtail the inventory from X percentage to Y percentage, or reduce the inventory to X to Y. So these sort of things needs to be mentioned. So far, both of the questions were answers were more tailored about only budgeting and forecasting. So that's not the only thing with respect to financial analyst role. It's more of the analysis perspective attached to it. And more or less, before going any further, I just want to tell you that not with the feedback, don't consider the criticism. We are just here to support you what we understood. Maybe we are wrong because this is our perspective. Maybe which is generally we have seen over the period of last 15 years. It doesn't mean to criticize you guys or demotivate you guys. It just need to support you guys. Don't you? So your answer was good. We are just telling you that in addition to that, if this particular thing is addressed, it will help you out more.
जवाद वेरी
Okay,
ब्यूटीफुल
thank you.
फीडबैक, बहुत अच्छा फीडबैक था। इसमें बस लास्ट वन लाइनर फीडबैक इज दिस, जिस तरह से टेक्निकल नॉलेज हमने किस तरह से क्या जवाब देना है वो तो जवाद ने बता दिया। इसके साथ आपकी जो वॉइस है, आपकी जो वॉइस टोन है, उसमें भी कॉन्फिडेंस होना चाहिए, उसमें एक पुख्तगी सी होनी चाहिए। मतलब वो जैसे आपने स्टार्ट किया क्वेश्चन का आंसर देना, वहां से भी एक टोन सेट होती है। तो आपका जो आंसर है वो भी बड़ा लाउडली और कहना चाहिए कि मतलब वॉइस में कॉन्फिडेंस होना चाहिए। सो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन जवाद, रिलेटेड टू फाइनेंशियल एनालिस्ट ही। मैं ये क्वेश्चन जो है हिरा जलाल, हिरा यू आर सेल्फ म्यूटेड, प्लीज अनम्यूटेड। चलें, आई थिंक शी इज नॉट अवेलेबल। मुदस्सिर तारिक, मुदस्सिर तारिक, मुदस्सिर तारिक, यू आर सेल्फ म्यूटेड। जी, anyone from the list? अरसलान महमूद।
Salam sir.
वालेकुम
Hello.
सलाम। जी अरसलान, मेरा जो आपसे क्वेश्चन है वो ये है, is it possible for a company to have a positive cash flow but still be in a serious financial trouble? So what your experience says about this?
Sir, if a company is in positive cash flow, it may be due to the increase in its liabilities. If it's financing most of its working capital through borrowing, it could be maybe because the company doesn't have much of the movement in its current assets, or there is a possible प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी साइड पे जो नॉन कैश एक्सपेंसेस हैं वो इतनी ज़्यादा हों कि वो जो नेट प्रॉफिट आपका नेगेटिव अगर आ रहा है तो वो उसको पॉजिटिव कर दें। कंपनी की फाइनेंशियल हेल्थ अगर तो वो पॉजिटिव कैश फ्लो रिजल्टेंटली हो जाएगा, लेकिन प्रॉब्ली उसकी गियरिंग रेशियोज काफ़ी हाई होंगे, जिसकी वजह से वो फाइनेंशियल उसकी जो वीकनेस उसमें ज़्यादा होगी। इसके अलावा अगर बात करें कि इफ अ कंपनी इज बाकी फिर इसके अलावा क्योंकि आई थिंक दैट मे वन ऑफ द रीजंस दैट व्हाई द कंपनी
Okay,
कैन बी इन
concluded,
फाइनेंशियल
concluded very
डिस्ट्रेस।
positively. Okay, जवाब साहब, इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर तो यू आर दी राइट मैन फॉर दिस, तो काइंडली आप गाइडेंस दें इसके बारे में।
So probably my mic was muted. You can hear me?
हाँ बिल्कुल, yes yes.
Okay, let's clear it. So the answer was fine. It's perfectly fine. But yes, as we have said that for few questions like this was an open question. So to me, it would have been the first would have been a precise answer. Yes, it's possible. And then if to me, if I was in that position, then I would have waited for the interviewer to say, okay, give us some examples. But to me, if he says it's possible, then I would have closed the topic because I'm not sure where is he coming from. But to me, yes, it's possible. I would have said yes, it's very much possible that that your working capital is funded through non-equity, equity or non-equity perspective. However, the business is not doing well. That's perfectly fine that happens. But to me, it's very much possible that you have a good cash flow, but still you are not doing well in terms of your bottom lines or in terms of your business. But I would quite frankly, if I would have been in his place, I would have first said yes, it's possible. I would have closed the discussion down there. I would have waited for the interview to ask the next question, that whether how, give us some examples. Then when he given an example, then in that study even I would have to give only one example. Like in this scenario, if we see that initially he started very well in terms of answering, then he started giving 1, 2, 3 examples, and after third example he was big flat down there and was a bit confused of what to say next. So in my scenario, I would have said yes, and afterwards I waited for the interview. If he asked me, okay, share me an example, I would have shared the example and one single example and moved on. So that's a good escape for me.
चलें जवाब, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन भी आपकी तरफ से प्योरली रिलेटेड टू फाइनेंशियल एनालिस्ट, फिर हम उसके बाद दूसरे क्वेश्चंस की तरफ मूव करते हैं.
Sure, fair enough. So we have Kamran Ramzan with us. Kamran, it's probably your mic is muted. If you are with us, then kindly unmute your mic, or I will move on. Okay, this is one question which is pretty much common as far as my which I gave it a free hand down there. Whosoever wants to answer that particular question can raise hand, and probably we can unmute. This is one question which is being normally asked in most of the junior position or second tier position in terms of retail, specifically once it comes to planning or anything. So I will share a scenario, and I would like to listen maybe 2 or 3 answers, maybe maybe one answer. It depends on the audience down there. So the question is like you are a financial analyst for or you are in the finance team of a retail organization, and your CFO has in the morning come in the office this month of December, and we are about to present the results. His mood was pretty much off in the morning for whatsoever reasons, and he has to present the data to the management as well. The CEO is waiting for the presentation to present. We are talking in December, first week of December in Pakistan, and the results have to be presented for the month of November. The CEO is pretty much off, stating that suddenly the sales of our FMCG, sales of our Coke or Pepsi and Coke has declined over the period of last 2 or 3 months, and he wanted to know the reasons what happened actually. So the CFO is there. He has just dipped into your room and asked that have you analyzed this particular solution? Have you analyzed the products and the selling of the products and how it's being sold over the period of last 3 months? What's the trend? Have you ever any trend analysis? Why the company is unable to sell Coke or Pepsi in this last 2 or 3 months of time? It's been declining as compared to last quarter. So what have you done in that scenario? And if anybody else, Sun, you probably have got my question, huh? Where I'm coming from. So anyone who want to answer this?
plate transfer transfer.
जी आकिब नकीबुल्ला देना चाहेंगे इस पे. आकिब प्लीज अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम.
वालेकुम.
अच्छा, क्वेश्चन जो मैं समझ पाया हूँ कि सीईओ का मूड खराब है और आपने एक सेल्स की उसको बताना है कि ये क्यों पंगा हुआ है, right?
Fair enough. In terms of Coke and Pepsi, in the month of December, you are evaluating results for the month of November, and you are comparing the results of this quarter versus the previous quarter, and the sale is declining. So you want to know what's happening.
So first of all, I would make sure I would greet the CEO just to make sure that he is comfortable, and just make a joke or two so that he becomes comfortable. Because if he is not comfortable and he is in the bad mood, then he will not listen to me in any circumstance. So once he got relaxed, and then I would get to the point that it's December and
आप
it's winter time.
आप उनका हेड मसाज करेंगे, कंधे दबाएंगे, क्या करेंगे?
just
यूं ही
I
मैं
hope you make him
खुलना
comfortable.
just make a joke or two like I did now. Okay, so I will refer to the point that rained a lot in October, November. So that's why our the weather was changing fast, and it was winter. And in winter, the people usually don't drink too much Coke or Pepsi. That's why our numbers declined much more than the other product. For example, if we are Pepsi, then our number decline because we normally Coke target the audience in the restaurants, where in the restaurant sector normally people order Coke, but for the Pepsi they don't really target restaurants as much as Coke they do. So that's why our target niche customers are mostly at their homes or at some shops, so that's why our sales decline. And if he didn't accept my point, then I will gather the data for the last 3 to 4 years, and I would compare that how our sales decline in the winter, and I would make a point that we need to work on this strategy to offer targeting the restaurant owners and hotels and sign a agreement.
Okay. Anyone else wants to answer the same question? Otherwise, I will be coming back to the
Yes,
feedback to answer.
Arsalan Mahmood. Yes, Arsalan Mahmood. I'm unmuting him. Arsalan, also unmute yourself.
जी
Yes,
जी sir, can you hear me?
yes, yes.
Ji, ji.
What I would be looking towards is I would see the area of distribution, whether the dealerships are still present with us or with the Pepsi or not, and how. And I will look into it. Maybe possibly I will visit, because there won't be a lot of time, so I will directly contact with the regional regional heads or regional partners available there. So whether there is a shift of sales between the Pepsi and the Coke, there can be seasonal impact as well, because if we see a regular decline in these months of November and December, there can be a winter impact. We can see if there is a closure, if there is an economic impact, or there is a sudden, like could be a change in the sales pattern, whether the people are preferring a different product there. Probably like Ms. Akib said that, Pop said that there is maybe a hot beverage towards a hot beverage, or they can be these may be the possible reasons why the sale may decline during these months. Change of preferences, change loss of dealerships or distributions, or there is a economic, maybe the distributors are not able to deliver properly because of a strike position, that can call be due to the fuel surge price. So like in oil, there is a problem in that. These can be multiple reasons. Thank you.
Okay, fair enough. So let's move on with the feedback. We're having some. Okay, there are two or three things. So before we move on, so first of all, first thing first, both of the answers were fine with respect to whatever they understood with the question, but probably the question was not well heard. So this is one thing. Make sure whenever the other thing is like it's not like we are doing it online, but most of the times in these circumstances with COVID, many of the organizations are doing their initial interviews online. So you need to understand uh, what the interview is asking for, or what the proper question was, or maybe in case if you have any question, you could have asked a question. You have asked the interviewer to repeat the question or scenario once again in order to be sure what you are saying. So first, I told that the CFO is coming to your room, not the CEO. First thing first, CFO was off for whatever reasons, not the CEO. CFO is supposed to present to the management. Second thing was like I told you that it's month of December, and the sales for Coke and Pepsi both were down as compared to the last quarter. So this was a question. So coming back to first answer. Now, one thing is for sure that whenever your manager's mood is off, you will never ever say any jokes at that point in time. That is for sure. There are no two ways about that. You need to be extra vigilant at that point in time, because you never know what sort of the personality, like
CFO.
even if you are very good friends with your CFO, even if you're very very good friend with CFO, but whenever the mood of any person is off, you tend to keep your discussion precise to the point, and you need to answer the question without jokes. In such situation, can only get your warning letter straight away. So that's for sure. So that's a bad idea. To say a joke. You can make him comfortable with your answer instead of the joke. This is one thing first. Now in terms of interview, now we are talking about that we are in the interview. We are not in a logical situation at this point. That's an interview. It's not right. So you need to close down your assumptions first. You need to close down your assumptions. So first thing first, the thing is like you could have asked the interviewer in that scenario that I am assuming that the sales in last year in the same quarter versus this year in the same quarter is same or it's not declined, because this is the first thing first, that what happened with the last year. We cannot compare quarter to quarter in terms of the scenarios. Like that's why I told December I particularly picked up, because the season has changed. Probably the consumption of the cold drinks is bit low as compared to the rest of the season or the rest of the year. Then there are two or three ways to analyze it further. That from last quarter, this quarter, what happened last year? Is the trend is same? Are you carrying a trend with respect to the last year? This is what he wants to listen. This is the role of financial analyst, and you are assuming that you are in the situation, and it's a rightful situation out there which you are facing. So you need to close down your assumption in front of the interview right away. That's the way you are. He's assuming that you are a financial analyst. You cannot say maybe this happened or maybe that happened. You have to close your assumption so that maybe can be eradicated from there. So that was a very good point that I would have checked with the distributor. Maybe the distribution didn't came. It's a very very common phenomena in terms of one of the FMCG I worked, that the distributors was unable to deliver on time and we had lost the sales. That is very very valuable question, valuable answer. But the question is like what happened the last year. You have to first of all compare the trend versus the last year. Then you have to bring in the season impact. That's perfectly fine. And the good part is like then in order to comfort the things down in terms of that particular thing, you have to say something positive out of it as well. The positive is like maybe from last year, the sales have increased in terms of percentage, in terms of value, in terms of pricing, whatsoever it is. It may be, so you have to say something positive as well in order to elevate the mood within whole scenario. Secondly, the other perspective is like if the sales for Coke and Pepsi is down, what happens to the overall revenue scenario? If the overall revenue scenario is good, then what's the other products that have jumped in? So what we used to do in terms of hypermarkets I work for, we used to have top 10 top 10 growing items and top 10 declining items in a particular category. Like this is one of the categories. Cold drinks is falling into one of the categories. So what happened in that particular category is important. So you need to be specific in terms of your answers. This is what a role in terms of financial analysis is concerned. We are not talking to someone who is just assuming on five or six things. So it's very good thing to assume and close the discussion and target the particular issue in terms of your interview. And that will help the interviewer as well. That will that will help the interviewer that you are analyzing the situation and you are closing down your options within time. What could have happened? Okay, if the sale versus last year is declining, or this particular thing is closed. That now it's not competitive with last year, because last year if the sale from last year declined, we must have been some other reason, because the season is same, nothing has changed. So that is a very right answer for one of the candidates, that it has rained. So if it has rained for 2 or 3 days and the store was closed, okay, that's a perfect reason that last year it wasn't, this year is fine. So this is how you need to close down your assumptions and move on with the interview.
It's over to Harun. It's your turn.
I'm enjoying the conversation. You go on.
जी जवाब ने बड़ा अच्छा फीडबैक दिया है. मुझे नहीं लगता इसमें फर्दर कोई एडिशन करने की ज़रूरत है. इट्स अ वेरी गुड फीडबैक. नाउ जवाब व्हाट यू से, क्या हम दूसरे क्वेश्चंस की तरफ जो हमने लास्ट टाइम डिस्कस किए थे पर्सनालिटी रिलेटेड क्वेश्चंस, वो हम डिस्कस कर लें फिर?
जी fair enough. बिल्कुल
ठीक है जी। जो क्वेश्चंस हमने लास्ट टाइम डिस्कस किए थे, जिसमें हमने जो है डिफरेंट क्वेश्चंस को डिस्कस किया था, जो कि एज वेल ये भी इंटरव्यूअर जो है वो भी पूछता है कैंडिडेट से। सो अब हम उन क्वेश्चंस की तरफ चलते हैं स्पेसिफिकली। जो भी हमने क्वेश्चंस किए थे, ये ऑब्वियसली आप जिस पोस्ट के लिए इंटरव्यू देने जा रहे हैं, ये टेक्निकल नॉलेज के हवाले से थे कि आपको इस तरह के क्वेश्चंस भी पूछे जा सकते हैं। और इसके अलावा भी आप फाइनेंशियल एनालिस्ट पोस्ट के लिए, जब भी अगर आप किसी भी पोस्ट के लिए इंटरव्यू देने के लिए जाते हैं, तो वो क्वेश्चंस जो हैं वो आपको गूगल के ऊपर भी मिल जाते हैं। आप वहां से भी कुछ उन क्वेश्चंस को रीड करके जाएं, उनके आंसर्स को तैयार करके जाएं, क्योंकि इंटरव्यू जो है जब भी आपने देना है वो ऑब्वियसली आपने प्रिपरेशन के साथ ही देना है। ठीक हो गया। सो नाउ अब हम क्वेश्चंस की तरफ चलते हैं। हम क्वेश्चन जो पूछते हैं जी, अब हम रेज हैंड्स की ऑप्शन ही रखते हैं, इट्स बेटर ऑप्शन। माय फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज, where do you see yourself in next 5 years? This is the most important question जो कि हर इंटरव्यू में पूछा जाता है। So please raise your hand so that I can unmute you. जी, वसीम इलियास। वसीम इलियास। Uh, anyone who is ready to give the answer of this question? Please raise your hands. Jawad sir, I think no one is ready to give the answer of this question.
So now probably you have to pick someone directly.
मोहम्मद अरशद ने हैंड रेज किया हुआ है, बुरहानुद्दीन ने हैंड रेज किया हुआ है। सो मैं मोहम्मद अरशद को अनम्यूट कर देता हूँ।
अनम्यूट करें।
Arshad,
thank you very much.
Go on. Burhanuddin, next.
Thank you, Harun, and thank you everyone else. Thank you for the question. 5 years down the line, I see myself leading a particular organization itself. So I'm working on my leadership skills since I'm in my career. So on those lines, I'm working to see how I can develop my own team to run my own business. So 5 years down the line, I will be heading an organization of my own. That's my ambition. Thank you.
जवाद, हमने शायद ये कल डिस्कशन भी की थी कि अगर ये हाँ
okay, let's take this further from here onwards. Like, if I would have received that answer, then I would have asked next question: why would I hire you at this point in time? If I know that on the road over the period of the next few years, your ambition is to have your own company, why should I be hiring you at this point? My next question would be this. So, if the same individual can answer this question as well.
All right. So for now, I am like still developing my team, so I can contribute into this team, further polish my skills, and then of course when I'm in part of this team, I am contributing positively to achieve the goals of this business. I'm not saying that I'll be heading off soon, but that is my ambition in 5 years down the line. So during this next 5 years, this is a lot of time. I can contribute positively into this organization.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So the thing is like that is pretty much okay. Your ambition is fine. We tend to 100% agree, and we wish you all the best with this perspective. In my point of view, if I had the interview, I would have said, okay, I wish him all the best. But until unless your rest of your credentials are that much good or have attracted me already, then I would have accepted this answer, or I would have invested on you. That okay, I would have said, okay, fair enough. I will hire this guy, and we will have what sort of value addition he can do for next 1 or 2 years. And the only if he wants to move on, he can move on. And we will see after 2 years of time. That answer will be like if on the other side there is another candidate who is showing a commitment for whatsoever the future time and credentials are seen or somehow comparable, then there is a problem that you might lose your points down there. But This doesn't mean that any interviewer or anyone is disagreeing with your ambition. Your ambitions are good, but that particular ambitions may not be fitting in at that point in time in that particular company. So this question would have been an excellent answer, just in, but this has to be backed by an evidence that you have already hunted the interviewer in terms of ensuring him that you will be adding value over whatever time you have stayed with the company. I will give you one of the examples in the same scenario. I was in the same situation whereby it's like 7 to 8 years, 7 years back almost, whereby I've been interviewed in two organizations. One was a retail organization, and the other one was a non-retail organization. Since my background is mostly in retail sector, so I've always loved to work for retail because I feel that I can add more value in retail organization because of my understanding from the retail perspective. So that entity was non-retail. They have interviewed me. That it was like a multinational company. They interviewed me for one of the positions, and in the last interview, the VP Finance asked me the same question. That what are your ambitions for next 5 years or so? Where do you see yourself? So I told him very clearly that I've given an interview for one of the organizations which is in the retail sector. And if I get an opportunity, I'm pretty blunt with you that I will be accepting that position. Now, having said that, once I said this thing, I knew that I have already convinced him to that part that I've given him one of the scenarios whereby I knew that they won't, if they even hire me for 6 months down the road in that particular organization, they will be able to address that particular problem. And that was the same thing happened down there. That this particular that BP Finance was an expert, and he told me that okay, fine, we will let's connect, and if you get an opportunity later, you can move on. Meanwhile, we think that the suggestion in terms of the valuation you was told in the earlier part of the interview, we feel that you will be able to add value to our organizations even that small period of time. So see, this is where I'm coming from. That if he thinks that this particular person I'm interviewing is will be adding value in days to come, he might hire you. Otherwise, you will be evaluated with other candidates down there as well. I will give you another example. I'm just saying my own example down there. I've never at the time of I worked at short-term hospital at a border. That was again 7 to 8, 9 years back almost. And I was interviewed by the audit committee, and the late Ali, Mr. Ali, who is like head of, who is chairman for Indus Motors, now has passed away lately. So he's done my interview for 1.5 hours, almost like this audit committee was here and they interviewed me for like more than an hour. And after an hour, he told me that Jawad, whatever you did in your CV is what I agree that you have done. You have achieved multiple things. And my question is, why do you want to switch the retail industry? So my answer to him was simple that unfortunately there's no opportunity in retail at this point in time. I don't get to do now. So I think I can add value to the organization XYZ circumstances. So later on I came to know this was, and later on I came to know the audit committee has discussed my answer, and they said, okay, time he will be with us, he will be adding value because I've already ensured them about what value addition I would be doing with them. So this is very important. This answer is there's nothing wrong with this answer because everyone cares for your ambition. Your ambition is with you. Nobody is forcing you to join any company. But on the other side, they are investing on you and they wanted a return out of that as well. So either you have assured them already that you will add value, that will work. Otherwise, probably this answer might close the door. So this is a tricky thing. But until unless you have again close it down, until unless you have already ensured that you will be adding value in whatever time you have, and you already convinced your interviewer, then this answer might work. Otherwise, bit shaky, depending on the interviewer's psyche as well.
जवाद आपका फीडबैक बहुत अच्छा था। इसमें जवाद ने आपको जो फीडबैक दिया उसमें क्रक्स यही है कि इफ यू आर गोइंग टू गेट एन अपॉर्चुनिटी, व्हाई यू आर इंटरेस्टेड टू टेक द रिस्क बाय गिविंग दिस टाइप ऑफ आंसर। योर एम्बिशन इज वेरी गुड। आप इस एम्बिशन को अगर हम साइड पे रख दें, योर एम्बिशन इज आफ्टर 5 years, देन आप सिंपल इंटरव्यू के अंदर जाएं, give them a good answer, and then avail the opportunity if you will be offered by the employer. इस तरह का आंसर देने से आपको जो है ऑब्वियसली, जिस तरह जवाद ने इस फीडबैक इतना जो फीडबैक दिया, उनका मकसद यही है कि उसके इस आंसर को देने से पहले आपको उन्हें कन्विंस करना पड़ेगा इन 5 सालों में आप उनके लिए क्या वैल्यू ऐड करेंगे। और ये आपके लिए काफी टफ होगा कि आप इतना कन्विंस कर लें कि वो आपके इस एम्बिशन को मतलब फॉर ग्रांटेड ले लें और आपको अपॉर्चुनिटी की ऑफर करते हैं। सो मेरे ख्याल से, मेरी ओपिनियन से, अगर आप ये आंसर देना चाहते हैं तो आपको, जैसे जवाब ने कहा, बिल्कुल आपको बहुत स्ट्रांगली कन्विंस करना पड़ेगा कि 5 सालों में आप उनके लिए वाकई में ही बहुत वैल्यू एडिशन करेंगे। अदरवाइज वही बात है, बिग शेक ही हो सकता है वो आपको इस अपॉर्चुनिटी के लिए, क्योंकि मैं भी हूँगा तो मुझे होगा कि अगर यार इन्होंने 5 साल बाद छोड़ ही जाना है तो मैं क्यों इतनी इन्वेस्टमेंट करूँ इनके ऊपर। ठीक है। सो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, जवाद, आर यू, आप पूछ लेते हैं नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन।
Please. So my next question would be, anyone who can share his his major strengths and weaknesses. What are your major strengths and weaknesses? So anyone, you can raise hand and I can unmute afterwards.
जी, ऑडियंस प्लीज रेज योर हैंड, रेज योर
के लिए
हैंड्स।
तो
So we have
स्ट्रेंथ्स के लिए तो बहुत लोग तैयार होते हैं। सॉरी, स्ट्रेंथ्स के लिए तो बहुत लोग तैयार होते हैं, जो आई थिंक जो वो क्या कहते हैं, वो इन स्विंगर है ना, वो वीकनेस होता है। तो इसके लिए कोई भी प्रिपेयर एंड ये बहुत सोच समझ के जवाब देना होता है। इसको इन स्विंगर कहते हैं, ये वो इन स्विंगर है जिसकी हम बात कर रहे थे
कल बात कर रहे थे।
So there is Arslan. Arslan probably raised hand. So Arslan, you can move on with your answer.
Hello, sir. Hello.
जी
sir, I would like to. Can you hear me, sir?
जी।
So weakness में पहले मैं ये कह सकता हूँ कि when I look into when I ever have worked within almost 3 organizations, so there has been I've been in reporting, mostly management reporting. So whenever I see a report, a system, a procedure that is already being carried out within an organization, I may try to find a different way or more of an innovative mindset, I can say, to cater the task. At times, this has led to improvement, and at times it doesn't lead to an improvement, but it may lead to delays. So I try to maintain the status quo. What the organization has been doing, it is being fine. Secondly, so that I can say that at times turns into my weakness. Secondly, I lack digital intelligence, such as the recent software that are statistically run software like Python, R language, which is sort of the recent era requirement. I am trying to work over them. I have been leading some, trying to complete few courses related to them. Other than that, I may be over empathetic at times. Maybe at times I couldn't organize myself initially at the start of my career, that which work, because when the boss comes that you have to do this, and when the CFO comes you have to do this. So whose work I need to do first? So I learned that you need to do the leadership first. If I talk about my strengths, I've been working in an area. My financial analysis is a core strength, because I've been in part of management reporting, budgeting. Then I have been a credit analyst in my last position. I'm able to handle large amount of data, because being able to effectively collaborate with the business groups and partner them, act as a business partner, to give them the results or numbers that they require in order to analyze their performances. I'm persistent, and I'm persistent. I'm not a giver up. If I want to know an answer of a thing, and if I don't know an answer, I'm not ashamed to ask about it. In fact, I will just try to at least first to find an answer by myself. And if I'm unable to do so, I will ask my senior or anybody who is relevant to the position. My MS Office skills, I can say, are pretty good. And in one of my last organization, I have actually created multiple dashboard reports that help the management to see the results in their better form and analyze them. That's it. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So anyone else wants to say anything in terms of anyone else want to contribute to this question?
Mudassir
Please,
Tariq,
Mudassir Tariq.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम
वालेकुम।
सर फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल अपॉलॉजी आपने मेरा नाम कॉल आउट किया था बट आई वाज ड्राइविंग तो मैं उस वक्त आंसर नहीं कर पाया था सेकेंडली इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर थोड़ा सा स्ट्रेंथ्स तो आपको पता है कि वी हैव मल्टीपल स्ट्रेंथ्स और हम लोग कुछ भी बताते हैं स्ट्रेंथ्स के हवाले से वीकनेस में मुझे जो लगता है वो वीकनेस विच वी शुड मेंशन वो ये है कि आई एम गुड इन एनालिसिस आई टेक टाइम टू वर्क और उसके लिए मुझे ऑब्वियसली थोड़ा सा डिलेज आते हैं मेरे काम में बट क्योंकि फाइनेंस में आपको डिलेज यू कांट अफोर्ड डिलेज तो आपको टाइम पे काम करना होता है इसके लिए थोड़ा सा आई एम वर्किंग ऑन इट बट मोस्ट प्रोबेबली मैं बहुत जल्द इस पर वर्क करके तो कंप्लीट कर लूंगा एंड ओवरकम कर लूंगा इस प्रॉब्लम को बट ऑब्वियसली ये वीकनेस है कि आई टेक टाइम क्योंकि मैं परफेक्ट काम चाहता हूँ एरर फ्री काम चाहता हूँ सो बेसिकली ये सॉर्ट ऑफ एक वीकनेस भी है और कहीं ना कहीं ये स्ट्रेंथ भी है बट वीकनेस साइड पे ज्यादा है
Okay, fair enough. Anyone else before we head to the feedback?
Mohammad Arshad, you are unmuted from our side if you want to add something. Azhar Bilal Sheikh, please go ahead. Azhar Bilal, you are unmuted now.
असर बिलाल, असर आपको आवाज आ रही है? आई थिंक जब आज हम फीडबैक की तरफ चलते हैं बिकॉज वी हैव मेनी अदर
Mohammad
क्वेश्चंस.
Arshad.
So Mohammad Rashid is here. Thank you for this question. This is both tricky and interesting question. So first of all, coming towards the strength, I think I have strength of like I always welcome change, and I lead the change. I help others to understand and move along. I prefer to look for simpler and easier solutions, practical, which are understandable by all the audience. I'm good at coordination with all the stakeholders at different levels. In terms of weaknesses, I feel like it is difficult for me to tolerate discrimination in the work environment. I also don't feel like good working with people who are naturally kind of go slow, intentionally go slow. So I feel hard working with them. I also kind of trust others a lot. This has been good and bad as well. A couple of times as I have it. So I'm working on these weaknesses in terms of like if I see a discrimination happening in my work environment, I try to not, I mean, if I don't tolerate it, I at least try to inform to the relevant authorities to work around it. Similarly, if somebody is working slow, I try to work with him or her to understand what are the reason. Is it capacity or in the intent? If it is a capacity, I try to help. And if it is intent, I try to approach in other ways. Thank you.
Okay, fair enough. So Aslan, would you like to start with feedback?
Obviously, अगर मैं अगर अपने आप को इस जगह पे रखता हमने लास्ट टाइम भी डिस्कस किया था कि शायद हम इंटरव्यू के क्वेश्चंस को बहुत जैसा क्वेश्चन पूछा जाता है हम बिल्कुल डेफिनेट आंसर देने की कोशिश करते हैं। यहाँ पे ये होता है, अगर आपने मुझसे स्ट्रेंथ एंड वीकनेसेस पूछी थी तो इसमें मैं कोई सी भी अपनी वीकनेसेस को बताता, लाइक 2 और 3 वीकनेसेस, और उनको मैं कन्वर्ट कर देता कि ये मेरी वीकनेसेस थी, नाउ मैंने इनके ऊपर काम करके वो वीकनेसेस मेरी खत्म हो गई, नाउ दे आर बिकम माय स्ट्रेंथ्स। सो मैं सेपरेटली शायद, प्लीज करेक्ट मी जवाद अगर मैं गलत हूँ, मैं शायद सेपरेटली स्ट्रेंथ्स और वीकनेसेस का आंसर ना देता, क्योंकि ये क्वेश्चन मुझसे पूछा गया तो मैंने अपनी वीकनेसेस को बताया, लेकिन साथ ही उसको मैंने इस तरह से कवर किया कि नाउ आई हैव वर्कड ऑन इट। जैसे कि मैंने एक एग्जांपल में कहा था कि मैं जब भी अपना काम अपने बॉस को, ये क्वेश्चन मेरे से पूछा गया था व्हेन आई वाज वर्किंग एट अ मिड टायर पोजीशन, कि तो मैंने उनसे पूछा था, मुझे ये कहा गया कि आपकी वीकनेस क्या है, तो मैंने कहा कि मैं अपना जो भी काम था, हाँ, उसको मैं रिव्यू किए बगैर जो है वो मैं आगे फॉरवर्ड कर देता था अपने बॉस को, मैं खुद से भी रिव्यू नहीं करता था। तो उसमें ये होता था कि ऑब्वियसली काफ़ी मिस्टेक्स आती थी कि जो कि एक आपकी रेपुटेशन को जो है वो इम्पेक्ट करता था। तो मैंने ये किया कि मैं अब अपने काम को जब मैं मुकम्मल कर लेता हूँ तो देन आई रिव्यूड इट माई सेल्फ इन डिटेल एंड देन आई फॉरवर्डेड माई वर्क टू माई बॉस। सो ये मैंने अपनी एक फेलियर को मैंने उसको कन्वर्ट किया अपनी स्ट्रेंथ के अंदर। सो मैं शायद इस तरह से आंसर देता कि 3 से 4 वीकनेसेस का बताता और उन्हीं को स्ट्रेंथ्स में कन्वर्ट कर देता, तो मैं सेपरेटली शायद इसका आंसर ना देता। दैट्स माय ओपिनियन। नाउ जवाद, इट्स अप टू यू।
That's perfectly fine in terms of your approach. It works for sure. In case again, that's your approach whereby you are saying that you will be first sharing your weaknesses and then converting them into strengths. So that's one way of answering it. There's no harm with it. As far as our fellow colleagues within the last 3 colleagues who have shared their feedback, my only advice would be like once you are talking about your strengths and weaknesses, whether it's been a strength or whether it's be a weakness, you need to be precise both ways. Uh, there's no need. One thing first, like if you're talking about like what we're seeing, that probably just because it's not a real time scenario, so you guys are asking in a that way. So otherwise, you have to be focused either if you're telling your strengths first, then just complete your strengths first, and afterwards come to your weakness. Because what we have felt is the guys were first sharing their strength, then weakness, then strength, then weakness. So that type of shows that you are not organized in that scenario. This gives an impression that you are not organized in that perspective if you are doing it that way. Otherwise, yeah, answers were good, uh, both in terms of strengths and both in terms of weaknesses. One thing which I miss is like जब भी strengths की बात कर रहे थे, खासतौर पे जो फाइनेंशियल तो फाइनेंस से रिलेटेड कोर्स होती है या प्रोफेशनल्स हमारे सामने आते हैं, so we expect them to talk about their values as well. Unfortunately, I'm seen probably if I maybe I've missed, but all the three guys have not talked anything about their values because your values are your stress. This keeps you and probably I'm pretty sure that you guys are attending those ethical seminars which ACC is conducting over a period of time. So they are all, this is because they are focusing on the values. This is pretty much important, and this helps you out in answering the strengths part as well. So you talked about technical skills already. Or if you can add up your technical skills, like one of the guys told about his analytical skills. It's very good that you have shared that you are good at analytical skills. And the other side, if you're talking about your strengths, maybe you are good at your ethics, which is it's very nice. You are good at your integrity, which is very nice. It's one of the strengths. You are not compromising on your ethics. This can be a strength. And on the other side, once you're talking about weaknesses, weakness needs to be precise because once you're sharing and you don't give your interviewer so much of information that he gets either confused or he start getting questions out of it. Because these are tricky questions. These I call them googlies or the syllables, but it's like Harun Saab has mentioned. Because once you give them a choice or you give them time to once you give detailed answer to it, they get confused or they get time to answer the question you out of it. Like for sake of example, one of the candidates said that he's good at coordination, and the very next moment he said that He's good at trusting people, and on the third side, he says that he doesn't like people who are slow in terms. And then afterwards, he covered it, like whereby covered in a sense that he told that I analyzed that whether the slowness is a genuine intention or it's unintentional. If unintentional, I try to prove up, I try to guide the person out. So now. Since there are three or four things, probably also gives the impression that you are this thing you are not telling anything with a genuine perspective, because it means that you are processing. You have shared something first, afterwards you have shared the next thing, then you suddenly realize, okay, it's not correlating. Maybe you are not doing it that way, but it gives an impression to the interviewer that now you are processing it and you are trying to uh, tailoring or fabricating a story. I'm not at all saying that this particular gentleman is fabricating a story. Just saying that this is what the interviewer's impression is. Impression may end up that he will start thinking that he is uh, that he is in terms of fabricating a story whereby he said something earlier and afterwards he's trying to mitigate that. So weaknesses, one or two weaknesses would do, like for, for my instances is sometimes I speak so fast when I'm confident, so sometimes it sometimes keep my listeners uncomfortable once I start speaking fast. They ask me to slow down, whereby I have to slow down my presentation, or sometimes people are unable to understand. I can see a few of the comments in here as well, whereby somebody is asking that probably they are unable to hear me. I'm not sure whether it's whether it's internet issue or whether it's the same issue of speaking fast. So this is one of my weaknesses, which I'm still trying to uh, cope up with. So these are sort of things whereby we say something which is not that much relevant, and we don't fabricate anything. We genuine down there, and don't. And again, we also say that don't be that genuine that you share something which is unethical or in that perspective. So this is a tricky question, but answers, all of the answers are very good. I only would like to say that just nice answer you asking them. Answers were pretty good. And as far as all the individuals were concerned, answers were pretty good.
जी थैंक यू धन्यवाद
One question from my side. The first individual who responded, he said that I have a limitation in certain softwares. For example, data analytics softwares that are very, very recent. Is that a good idea to share such information, which could be leading and which could, take on to the next question, that what if we have another candidate available who has these skills? Does not rule you out of the interview straight away? I mean,
Answer is pretty fine. That is pretty right. This is why I say that once you say anything in detail and you give an interview to ask further questions out of it. By the way, the guy said that he is good at what I understood. He's good at those software, so this is good in a way. But again, if I'm interviewing in a genuine scenario, I would have asked him few questions out of it. So this is where I've also stated that be precise in your answers, and otherwise, if the interviewer start was questioning on these perspectives, then you are giving him a room to play, and you are dragging him into a discussion which might not be a good thing as far as the interview is. Like again, once we say about dragging the interview, it is sometimes good, sometimes bad. Like for sake of example, I'm just sharing my own experience again. In one of the interviews, it's like the guy asked me this position is for the position of a CFO in one of the retail organizations in Saudi. The guy started interviewing me, and after 4 or 5 minutes, I felt the director is off. He's not questioning. Maybe he's tired or whatsoever, or maybe he didn't like me. I don't know what happened at that point in time. So at that point, now is there is I felt the need, and now I need to drag the discussion. I have to put in something in terms of table whereby I want to make the interviewer alive out of it. So there are certain scenarios where such things work, whereby you say something which helps in getting questions out of the interview, and we can show your strengths. But that is only in a scenario where you feel like the interviewer has already finished with his things and you are unable, you have yet to show your strengths. This is again a scenario based thing. Scenario it gets changed. Like where, like again, I will reiterate that if you feel that you have not pulled out all your strengths as yet, then there is one question which is normally being asked at do any question. This is the point where you need to ask questions where you can drag the discussion, where you can share your strengths as well. But as Harun Sir said that stealing anything which is pretty critical or pretty new, whether you are is good at whether you are good at it or whether you're bad at it. Either ways, that is wrong because that gets not wrong, but that gets tricky. That interview gets a time to cross question on that, and then this again. It depends how good that then afterwards it's on you that how good you are at it and how good the interviewer is at it in terms of asking. Like in many of the circumstances, believe me or not, we have seen I've seen many of my juniors and many of my colleagues who are complaining that I went for an interview. I've stated this thing, but the interviewer was unable to you know gauge it or unable to guess what I'm saying. This is because probably the interviewer doesn't know much about that or he's not interested in such critical or technical things at that point of time. So this is where it's all very tricky. So you need to be precise, relevant, and make sure that whatever you're answering is closing the discussion. Until unless, and when I'm saying until unless you feel that the interview is about to end and you are still unable to pull out your strengths down, then you need to direct the discussion. Otherwise, be precise and relevant.
जवाब हमें यहाँ पे ये भी सोचने की ज़रूरत है कि हमको इस तरह की वीकनेस ना बताएं जो डायरेक्टली हम जिस पोस्ट के लिए अप्लाई कर रहे हैं वो डायरेक्टली उससे लिंक करती हो। तो ऑब्वियसली वो हारून की बात बिल्कुल ठीक है कि अगर इस तरह की कोई भी वीकनेस हम बताते हैं जो उस पोस्ट से रेलेवेंट है या उस पोस्ट में उस पोर्शन की बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंस है तो ऑब्वियसली हम उस इंटरव्यू से रूल आउट हो सकते हैं। तो अनटिल एंड अनलेस हम उस वीकनेस को अपना पास्ट एक्सपीरियंस शो करें और अब हमने उसको अपनी स्ट्रेंथ में कन्वर्ट कर लिया तो तब तो मेरा ख्याल है कि हम इसको बता सकते हैं। अदरवाइज मेरा नहीं ख्याल कि हम इस तरह से करें तो हम उसमें जगह बना सकते हैं।
Very rightly said. I mean, question. If I write, is one of the questions is like, is it possible for the interviewee to drive the whole interview? It's from probably Asif. Somebody named Asif.
Yes.
It's a very good question. To me, see, I will again give you a very relevant perspective to it, and especially once if you're an advisor and if you're going for a consultancy perspective, whereby you are going for certain things. Like for example, I will again share the example because this is where I am saying that sometimes you have to drag the discussion based on your questions which are relevant to the industry, and you think you can add value, and this particular industry is not doing as yet. So, for sake of an example, I was few days back, I was in Peshawar pitching one of the clients. They wanted to have their hypermarket being constructed in Peshawar. They want to start the hypermarket business. So the thing is, it has started from the hypermarket itself, and they started asking me about what are your experiences in terms of hypermarket, what's happening, what's not, blah blah. So now at certain point I felt that okay, this is the discussion. I felt the role was as part at that point I was a consultant for a hypermarket business. Now the thing is like it's fine. I'm there for hypermarket business, but I have to keep the whole perspective aligned in terms of the group or in terms of the company. This is where I say that you need to study the company as well, what they are doing. So I will prepare down there what they are doing, what are their weaknesses, where can I add value in terms. And there onwards, when I left the room after the discussion was like for almost 6 to 7 hours from the we started off in the morning, we had a lunch, and afterwards in the evening we had closed it down. And after 6 7 hours of discussion, we came along. This was not an interview, but it was a consultancy assignment. So we went for a broader perspective down there. So this is where sometimes during the interviews it also happens. Like I told you in terms of that Saudi company, the things were ending. Like after 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, I felt that the interview is no more interested in my candidature. So now one thing is like I would say okay, that's fine. If he's not interested, let's close the thing. Other thing is like I wanted to still show him my strengths. What can I bring on the table for him? And there onwards, I started asking him the questions based on what and why I've asked those questions because I have read about their company online or through different means through my network. I've understood what are their weaknesses, what are their strengths, and I started talking about their weaknesses, their gaps, and their onwards how to bridge them in. Like I've started asking them questions relevant and what are your businesses? Why I feel that you are lacking in that perspective. Why are you not entering into e-commerce? Why are you still focusing on brick and mortar stores? Why are you not going for e-commerce as of today? Why your e-commerce is not offering credit cards option? Why are you only doing into cash or delivery and so on and so forth? And suddenly that person has got alive. So this is again a scenario-based thing. It's not always possible in an interview drive it, But yes, they are the thing where you feel that you can add value and interview is ending, and your time starts most probably either when you feel that interview is ending and he's not asking you a question, then you ask him, can I ask a question? Can I share something? Naturally, the interviewer says yes, you go on. And if you say no, then it is your luck, and the discussion goes anyways. And otherwise, they ask you a question. Do you have any questions? There you drag things up. And believe me that in that particular scenario, the Saudi road, after that discussion, which was ending at 5.5 minutes time, it had continued for almost 1 hour and 25 minutes afterwards. And at the end, he's pretty much on in terms of hiring me, but unfortunately, that COVID thing has started, and this like the presidency assignment was we never wanted in terms of financial advisory or CFA advisory perspective, but the COVID started and the visas were banned. So that's how it worked. So what, believe me, that 5.5 things, I was feeling that okay, that's over. But then I said, okay, I know their weaknesses and then I can add value out of it. Why not? I start dragging the discussion down there. So this is a scenario-based thing, and it's all dependent on your skills. And this is where we say yesterday as well that in the initial part that you need to study the organization you are going on and the industry you are going on. Otherwise, well, this will give you multiple opportunities during the interview to show your strengths.
Uh, Thank you, Jawad, for the feedback. Next question, which is also very important for our ACCA fraternity in an interview, and that is why are you leaving your current job? इसके ऊपर हमने significant discussion भी की थी. So, who is interested? Please raise your hand. Please raise your hands, please. Why are you leaving your current job? This is the question, and please raise your hands or unmute yourself.
Ole, you are unmuted now.
Assalamualaikum.
वालेकुम सलाम. जी.
Okay. Okay. So basically, जैसे हाफिज अरसलान साहब जो हैं वो भी KPMG से हैं, तो मेरा ताल्लुक भी KPMG से है और मैंने अभी रिसेंटली अपना जो ट्रेनिंग कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है वो कंप्लीट किया है वहाँ से. So अब ट्रेनिंग कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कंप्लीट कर दिया मुझे
और वॉइस की डिस्टॉर्शन आ रही है हसन आपकी तरफ से ना, वॉइस की डिस्टॉर्शन आ रही है. माइक को जरा लैपटॉप से दूर करें.
ठीक है सर, क्या अब बेहतर आ रही है?
अभी भी जो है, अब जवाद आपको भी डिस्टॉर्शन फेस कर रहे हैं ना आप?
जी, probably को मोबाइल समथिंग maybe मोबाइल is in front of him something.
हाँ, या मोबाइल को थोड़ा सा दूर कर दें या लैपटॉप को थोड़ा सा डिस्टेंस पे रखें.
चलिए, मे बी शायद अब कुछ बेहतर हो जाए. मैंने कुछ पोजीशन चेंज किए.
हाँ, कुछ बेहतर है, बताएं.
Okay, apologies for this. I don't know कि क्या रीजन है इसके लिए. I will try. So basically, जो मैं फाइनेंशियल एनालिस्ट के रोल के लिए इसलिए अप्लाई कर रहा हूँ कि मैंने ऑडिट में जब मैंने इस बात को रियलाइज किया कि बेसिकली ऑडिट भी जो है एक तरह से आप एक वैल्यू तो ऐड कर रहे होते हो, बट डायरेक्टली जो फाइनेंशियल कंट्रीब्यूशन होती है वो तभी आती है कि जब आप एक ऐसे रोल में इन्वॉल्व होते हो जिससे आप ऐसी इनसाइट्स जनरेट कर सकते हो. मैंने एक एल्बर्ट आइंस्टाइन की बहुत बड़ी उसमें ये था कि आप जो है डोंट स्ट्राइक टू बी अ मैन ऑफ सक्सेस, बी अ मैन ऑफ वैल्यू. तो मैंने इस बात को रियलाइज किया कि आप जो वैल्यू एडिशन जो होती है वो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए बहुत क्रिटिकल होती है. और मैं ये समझता हूँ कि जो मैंने ACCA जो मैंने पढ़ा है तो उसके अंदर उसने मुझे इतनी स्किल्स और इतनी नॉलेज जो है उसने प्रोवाइड की है कि मैं एक अच्छे फाइनेंशियल एनालिस्ट की पोजीशन के पे जाके कंपनी को वो वैल्यू ऐड करके दे सकता हूँ. और सिमिलरली जिस तरह आप ऑडिट में होते हो, आप मल्टीपल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस का ऑडिट करते हो, तो उसमें आपके पास एक डाइवर्स इंडस्ट्री एक्सपीरियंस आ जाता है कि आप जो है उस डाइवर्स एक्सपीरियंस की बेस पे भी अपनी वैल्यू एडिशन कर सकते हो. सो दिस इज द रीजन सर आई एम नाउ कंसीडरिंग द रोल ऑफ फाइनेंशियल एनालिस्ट. थैंक यू.
हसन, आपका आंसर तो ठीक था लेकिन इसमें थोड़ा सा आप स्पेसिफाई कर देते. आप बेसिकली लास्ट जॉब क्यों छोड़ रहे हैं? आपने अपनी स्ट्रेंथ और लिंकेज तो कर दी फाइनेंशियल एनालिस्ट की पोजीशन के साथ, आप इसको लाइक यू हैव टू एंडोर्स इट, लाइक जो आर्टिकल्स थे हमारे वो नाउ द आर्टिकल्स हैज बीन कंप्लीटेड एंड इट्स रिक्वायरमेंट बाय आवर बॉडी के हमने आर्टिकल्स उसको करने होते, हमने आर्टिकल्स मुकम्मल करने होते हैं. नाउ द टेन्योर इज कंप्लीटेड, सो now it's our time to come or move into the industry. So I am applying for this position and then going forward. Yes, Jawad.
That's perfectly fine. I would also said that my contract is ending, so that's the very reason that my contract is already ended. So I'm looking forward to the opportunities. That's perfectly fine in terms. So that would have been the right answer.
Then anybody else, please, who want to give the answer of this question? प्लीज रेज योर हैंड्स. आप जितने आंसर देंगे उतना बेहतर होगा, उतनी करेक्शन होगी और उतना ज़्यादा आपको डिफरेंट क्वेश्चन, डिफरेंट आंसर्स की ऑप्शंस आपको मिलेंगी. सो कोई भी आंसर आपके माइंड में आ रहा है, अगर स्ट्राइक कर रहा है, प्लीज गिव योर आंसर.
Hello, Assalamualaikum sir. This is Hira Jalal. I would like to answer this question. Actually, the last organization that I worked for, I was working in the budget department and then the disbursement department. So, but I personally think that I'd be better for a role of financial analyst role instead, because I can add value to the company, using my skills. Doing that also, because I took a gap year from working role because of some family issues. So like I started working as a freelancer, and I do have previous experience in the financial analyst role. So I think this would better suit my professional career in terms of and it can be in line with what I want to achieve in the future. So and plus this role basically interests me much more, and this is why I want to apply and I want to work as a financial analyst. Thank you.
Thank you, Hira Jalal. Yes, Jawad, waiting for your feedback, precious feedback.
So that is fine. This is we saying that you just need to align that. It's well reasoned down there. Same goes for the last candidate. Same goes for her as well. To me, the reasons are valid. Again, precision is a key. I'm glad that the both of them have not talked anything bad about this captain, which is good. So they are pretty much aligned with this, whatever they have, what we have suggested them last session.
ठीक है, थैंक यू. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन की तरफ हम चलते हैं. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है जी फ्रॉम हम क्वेश्चन ये है जी, इफ यू फाइंड आउट समथिंग wrong which is doing by your company, so what would you do in this case? I repeat the question. If you found out that your company is something doing wrong against the law or doing something fraud, what would you do in that case? G. Please raise your hands and unmute yourself. Give the answer. मैं इसलिए एंडोर्स कर रहा हूँ बार बार ताकि हम जितने आंसर्स देंगे उतना बेहतर होगा. वी आर ट्राइंग टू यूटिलाइज दिस टाइम वेरी पॉजिटिवली. प्लीज.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम. मैं इसका आंसर ऐसे दूंगा कि जब भी कंपनी कोई रॉन्ग डूइंग कर रही होती है, इलीगल काम, तो सबसे लास्ट ऑप्शन जो होता है वो होता है रेगुलेटर्स के पास जाना. जो नॉर्मली लोग सोचते हैं कि सबसे पहला काम ये है कि इलीगल काम हो रहा है तो डायरेक्ट जो है आप जो भी मतलब रेगुलेटर है आप उसके पास चले जाओ. तो सबसे पहले तो आप जो है अपने डायरेक्ट सुपरवाइजर से कंसल्ट करेंगे, फिर आपके पास लीगल काउंसिल जो है कंपनी का जो लीगल काउंसिल है आप उससे भी डिस्कस कर सकते हैं. एसीसी एक एथिक्स काउंसिल है. आपको अगर कोई ऐसा डायलेमा है जो आप समझते हो कि आप अपनी कंपनी में डिस्कस कर सकते हैं, आप एसीसी की काउंसिल को भी लिख सकते हैं, वो भी उसका जवाब दे सकते हैं. और एंड पे जो आखिरी ऑप्शन रह जाता है जब आप सारी चीजें एग्जॉस्ट कर देते हैं, वो है कि आप रेगुलेटर को जो है वो उनको जो है नोटिफाई कर.
जी, इन दैट केस जवाद, क्या मैं फीडबैक देना चाह रहा हूँ, मैं दे सकता हूँ जी फर्स्ट?
जी प्लीज आप कीजिए, मैं फॉलो यू अप।
जी, मैंने ये आंसर आपका सुना। देखें, एक तो इसमें ये प्रॉब्लम थी जो मुझे लगता है कि करेक्शन की ज़रूरत है, इसको मज़ीद इम्प्रूव बनाया जा सकता है। हमने शायद इसको स्टार्ट ही लास्ट पॉइंट से किया, जो कि आपने खुद भी बताया कि रेगुलेटरी ऑप्शन जो होती है, मेरे ख्याल से हमें स्टार्ट लेना चाहिए था यहाँ से, इसको मेंशन करने की ज़रूरत नहीं थी कि अगर इस तरह इफ वी नो अबाउट एनीथिंग कोई गलत हो रहा है, कुछ काम इस तरह का, तो आई विल टेल टू माई इमीडिएट बॉस, मैं उन्हें बताऊंगा, माई इमीडिएट सुपरवाइजर, and afterwards if we feel that we need to tell to HR department, or I will read the company policies, उसमें कंपनी पॉलिसीज के अंदर अगर इस तरह का सिनेरियो मेंशन है कि अगर आपको कोई इस तरह की सुस्पिशियस एक्टिविटी नजर आती है, तो उस केस में कि एम्प्लॉय को क्या करना है, तो आई विल कंप्लाई टू दीज रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस। आई डोंट थिंक सो कि हम इसमें ये मेंशन करें कि हम लास्ट ऑप्शन की तरफ जाएंगे, रेगुलेटरी बॉडी की तरफ, क्योंकि देखें, एम्प्लॉयर को अगर आप ये बात कहेंगे तो शायद एम्प्लॉयर इनसिक्योर हो जाए, ठीक है, क्योंकि वो शायद कुछ अपने पर्सपेक्टिव से सोच सकता है, शायद कुछ टैक्सेशन के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से वो सोच सकता है, शायद कुछ और एक्टिविटीज के हवाले से सोच सकता है। तो इट्स माय ओपिनियन, अगर मैं आपकी जगह पे होता, मैं रेगुलेटरी बॉडी का नाम ही ना लेता। जैसे कि पहले भी बात हुई थी, कि आपको डेड ऑनेस्ट नहीं होना, इसमें आपने सिर्फ एक टेक्निकल आंसर, एक बड़ा खूबसूरती से जवाब देना है। तो इसमें आपको सिंपल अपना इमीडिएट सुपरवाइजर को इन्वॉल्व करना है, और उसके साथ साथ जो कंपनी की गाइडलाइंस अवेलेबल होंगी उसके मुताबिक यू हैव टू कंप्लाई फॉर इट। आप चाहे वो आपको HR की तरफ जाना पड़े, या जैसे भी आपकी कंपनी की पॉलिसीज है उसके मुताबिक आप विल कंप्लाई। डेट्स अ वेरी वेरी प्रिसाइज आंसर। आपको को बहुत ज्यादा इतनी ज्यादा मतलब रेगुलेटरी या सॉलिसिटर के पास जाने की जरूरत नहीं है। नौजवान,
अच्छा, इसमें I agree with first thing first is like even going to regulator is to me is not a choice at all, and it's a big no, because आप मैं फिर भी कहता हूँ कि there is one of the values which we are carrying, which is in terms of confidentiality perspective. So
yes.
that इसका रेगुलेटर के बाद आपसे उसी फ्लो पे जा सकते हैं until unless कि रेगुलेटर ने आपसे स्पेसिफिकली कॉल इन किया हो।
Yes.
So that's the
Public interest.
public interest के अंदर आपने कॉल इन किया, then you can share, otherwise आप तो एक अपना मेजर प्रिंसिपल आप इस पर्सपेक्टिव के अंदर वायलेट कर जाते हैं। इसका आंसर सिंपल है जी, इसका आंसर ये है कि I will follow the company code of conduct, whereby उसका आप ये कह सकते हैं, I am assuming that the company has this ethical code of conduct which has defined the authority to be coordinated within the organization. If anything happens, if anything unethical, I observe anything unethical, I have to follow the procedures as per the ethical code of conduct published by the organization. That's the best thing, best. Otherwise ये है कि अगर आपने बहुत ही जेनरिक जवाब देना था, अभी किसने I will go to my senior, I will approach HR, I will go to the ethical code of conduct. Once you say the I will go to a regulator, that's a big. You cannot until unless you have been specifically asked. So this is you be very very cautious in terms of that perspective. You cannot go to a regulator. That is you're even bound by your ethical code of conduct that you cannot go to the regulator unless you have been asked. This is one of the major dilemma which the professionals are facing at this time. So they have to be cautious on that.
Jawad, you can ask the next question from our ACC fraternity, please.
So I think there are a few questions from them as well. So which are we take probably. What answers if you are shifting from one job to another? Then next, what if that wrongdoing is a practice in that particular organization? So if I take the first question first, that you are shifting from one organization to another, probably you must have any valid reasons. It can be the growth, it can be out of content which you already shared, or it can be a growth perspective, or probably you feel. And then the other thing which we have shared yesterday as well, that start talking about the strength of the organization you are going for an interview. Like if you're going for an interview for a multinational retail chain, and you can say this MNC and it's a bigger retail chain, I feel I can add value to your strengths. So this can help you out down there. With respect to the the question if you are doing in practice that is particular. See, if anything particularly going wrong in your current organization, you will not need to tell to the upcoming organization for sure. So the the max you can say that if you think that you are that desperate to tell, then the only thing is that my professional code of conduct doesn't allow me to share the instance. However, there are certain ethical dilemmas beyond my risk appetite. That's it. You cannot share anything in detail. Even if you are that desperate to tell them that I've left organization because of ethical dilemmas, just say that I have released also due to ethical dilemmas which are beyond my risk appetite, and unfortunately, I am bound by my professional code of conduct that I cannot share it with you. That's it. If you want to say anything like this, so this is my perspective. That is why we should hire you. It is advisable to state reasons like too much commute time for you. Too much commute. See, the thing is that too much commute time. You are basically telling that you are not flexible in terms of relocation. That tomorrow, if the company relocates somewhere, if they relocate that in terms of retail, there are multiple stores. They can relocate you to any store. They can relocate your office. That shows that you are a bit reserved, or you are not open to relocation. This is one of the bad things about it. Normally, at a senior position, being a professional, we tend not to share such things normally. So this is one thing.
जवाद बस एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन जो मैं चाह रहा था कि डिस्कशन हो जाए, फिर हम ये वाले क्वेश्चंस भी फर्दर यहीं से कंटिन्यू करते हैं. सॉरी टू कट इन. इसमें जो एक क्वेश्चन है वो ऑब्वियसली मैं डिस्कस करना चाहूँगा यहाँ पे, विच इज ऑल्सो वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, एंड दैट इज व्हाट इज योर current salary and what are your salary expectations. So ये क्वेश्चन भी पूछा जाता है और ये भी इसका आंसर भी ऑब्वियसली उतना ही इम्पोर्टेंट है, क्योंकि ये सैलरी आपका जो आंसर है वो डिपेंड करेगा आपकी सैलरी डिसीजन मेकिंग में. So my question, I can repeat my question, and that is, what is your current salary and what are your salary expectations? The question has two parts, so people are sitting here, please give the answer of this question maximum, up to the maximum extent. Please raise your hand so that I can unmute you. आप सैलरी के फिगर अजम्पशन के बेस के ऊपर भी ले सकते हैं. यू डोंट नीड टू टेल योर एग्जैक्ट सैलरी है. सो आप कोई भी सैलरी के फिगर लेके उसको आप डिस्कस कर सकते हैं. बहरहाल फाइनेंशियल एनालिस्ट का पैकेज ही 125 to 150K है. चलें जी, हम इसको डिसाइड कर लेते हैं. तो प्लीज,
क्योंकि ये एंटायर प्रोग्राम ही 6 डिजिट्स पे है, तो मैं खास तौर पे चेक करूंगा कौन कौन 6 डिजिट्स के नीचे एक्सपेक्टेशन वाली सैलरी बताता है.
Please raise your hands or unmute yourself.
Azhar Bilal Shah has raised his hand.
Okay. Azhar Bilal.
Azhar Bilal, you are unmuted now.
अजहर बिलाल, आपको आवाज आ रही है? अजहर बिलाल.
Mohammed Arshad.
Okay. Mohammed Arshad, please.
Yes, sir. I'm earning right now around 150,000, along with the competitive benefits. So I'll be good I will be good for anything between 150,000 to 200,000, along with the prevailing benefits in the industry. Thank you.
So anyone else? I need maximum answers so that हम इसमें correction कर सके. I need variety of answers. So please, anyone have any idea how to give the answer of this question? Please speak. And it's better to be wrong. हाँ जी, बोल.
Sir, no, I have a question. Can we answer again, or it's like everybody's getting a chance once only?
Yes. And then you can give the answer.
All right. So currently I'm earning around 100K, but that is via freelancing, and I have to apply to different jobs and all. So if I work with one organization, like if you hire me, if I work with you, so I'm expecting somewhere around 125K, because then obviously I'll be restricted to only one organization, and I cannot get any other freelancing work. So yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. See, anyone else? I was saying it is better to be wrong here instead of when you are present in the interview वहाँ पे आपको गलत आंसर दे दें. I need one more answer, please.
अच्छा, मैं कोई स्पेसिफिकली फिगर नहीं कोट करूंगा, क्योंकि मैंने वैसे तो करंट सैलरी तो मेरी नहीं थी, मैंने भी आर्टिकल्स अभी फिनिश किए, तो मैं जॉब ढूंढ रहा हूँ. मगर 2 दिन पहले सैटरडे नहीं मंडे को मेरा एक इंटरव्यू हुआ था, जिधर मैंने इसी सवाल का जो आंसर किया था, वो बेसिकली मुझे एक्सपेक्टेड सैलरी नहीं, बजटेड सैलरी मुझे पता थी, कॉन्टैक्ट मेरे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में थे, तो उसको मैंने अपने लिहाज से इस तरह कॉन्फ़िगर किया कि मैंने जो इंटरव्यूअर थे मेरे, मैंने उनसे पूछा कि आपकी, क्योंकि वो ऑन साइट अकोमोडेशन भी प्रोवाइड करते हैं और साथ मील्स वगैरह सारी चीजें प्रोवाइड करते हैं, तो आई स्पेसिफिकली आस्क्ड देम कि मेरी सैलरी में से क्या डिडक्शंस होंगी, आप क्या अलाउंसेस देते हैं, आपकी लीव्स पॉलिसी क्या है, पेड लीव्स कितनी होती हैं, इन सारी चीजों को मैंने अकोमोडेट करके एक फिगर उनको कोट किया, जो मेरे नज़र में कि इससे जो इंटरव्यूअर है उसे भी अंदाजा होता है कि एम्प्लॉय जो हमारा प्रोस्पेक्टिव एम्प्लॉय है वो पोजीशन में इंटरेस्टेड है, और आप भी जो है अपने माइंड में सारी चीजें जो है एक एस्टिमेट अपना जो एंड पे आपको फिगर चाहिए, जो टेक होम सैलरी है, आप उसको डिसाइड करके जो है एक फिगर जो एम्प्लॉयर को अपने जो है वो कोट करें.
जी, जवाद, इसमें बिफोर गोइंग टू जवाद, इसमें मेरा ये फीडबैक है कि आप जब अपनी सैलरी बताते हैं, व्हेन आई टेल माय सैलरी के साथ ऑब्वियसली मैं पर्क्स एंड बेनिफिट्स साथ ही डिस्क्लोज कर देता हूँ, बिकॉज इट इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट टू नो बाय द एम्प्लॉयर के यू आर गेटिंग दिस सैलरी विद अदर पर्क्स एंड बेनिफिट्स. बट बिफोर गोइंग टू टेल देम एनी फिगर, फर्स्टली मैं उनसे उनकी सैलरी, उनके जो पर्क्स एंड बेनिफिट्स हैं, मैं उनसे वो ऑब्वियसली डिस्कस करता हूँ, और देन आफ्टरवर्ड्स आई विल कंसिडर द वैल्यू व्हाट आई हैव टू टेल देम. So Jawad, now it's your turn.
Okay, then again, to me, there are 2-3 ways to tackle with it. मैं हमेशा never quote anything upfront. First of all, I try to gauge like the question. If it's a question they have asked you about the last salary, then obviously you need to tell them a number, which is like whatever your salary was. If you don't want to quote the it's like exact number, you can say that. Say if it's 100K plus, then you can say if your salary 120, 100, you can say 100K plus, benefits, blah blah, whatsoever it is. But normally in such scenario, you need to go, okay, I've shared with you my you see my credentials. You must have evaluated my valuation perspective, and I would like to hear about the. I'm open to the negotiation with respect to the company's budget. Would you mind sharing the company's budget? What sort of valuation you are expecting? So there, the session starts off in terms of the you will show your interest as well, that you are now interested in the organization, and you are open to negotiation as well. And after you see if you, it's very good that if you get something out from them in terms of getting the budget. Otherwise, once you are putting something, then if you are in a position, is not in a position, you are not in a position where you can ask this much of a question. The position is not that senior, then you have to quote a range actually by the candidates like somewhere between 125 and 150 plus the benefits, and it's negotiable. One thing do add in at certain point in time that but it's that I'm flexible based on the company's some is present. And again, you can ask afterwards that do you mind sharing with this. So this is how I normally approach, or I see the candidates approach.
If I can, if I can add to this situation also, there are particular situation जहाँ पर एक ACCA trainee या affiliate under training है और अब पहली दफा job interview में वो गया है और अपनी salary expectation बतानी है, तो it is always I think wise to categorically say that it's going to be my first job as an ACCA member. Prior to that, I was an ACCA, working as an ACCA trainee, and I was getting a stipend. So it is, I mean, rather than mentioning a figure which was 20, 30, 40, 50,000 rupees, but as a stipend, it is wise to tell that, you know, what were you doing previously, in what capacity, what has changed, and therefore what is your expectation now. And another thing, and that is that कि आप अगर आप इस सिचुएशन में कुछ इंडस्ट्री के फिगर कोट करना चाहें, so for example, what do other financial analysts or generally financial analysts in the market get, and therefore your expectation, that I think may also be a good reason why you are asking for a specific amount of money. I am not sure if you know, to quote a figure which is within the budget of the organization is a right strategy. At times, the position is such कि जो एक बड़ी you know, value generating position होती है और उसके अंदर organization के पास leeway भी होता है कि अगर बहुत अच्छा candidate होगा, suitable होगा, तो हम उसको बेहतर ऑफर भी कर सकेंगे. So normally ACCA के केस में कभी ऐसे नहीं होता कि ये एक फिगर फिक्स्ड है और हमेशा एक रेंज अवेलेबल होती है. So आपके पास, और मैं जवाब की इस बात से भी एग्री करता हूँ कि आपको ये टर्म, ये स्टेटमेंट दे देनी चाहिए that you are open to negotiation. But at this point I will quote, you know, जब MBA कर रहा था तो मेरे डीन जो आजकल लम्स में he's a senior finance faculty there, उन्होंने मुझे ये कहा था, never shy off negotiating your salary in an interview. कभी ये ना कहें कि जी आपकी जो रेंज है मैं उसके मुताबिक जो भी सैलरी होगी मैं उस पर वर्क करने को तैयार हूँ. Never say that. That's a very bad response. Always be open to negotiation, right? Always make a informed, sensible decision, right? Of course, you should not sound greedy. Of course, you should not sound over ambitious, but at least, you know, you should be able to relate your strengths, your previous track record, and relate it with the kind of salary that you're asking for. So just, you know, my 2 cents in this situation.
ऑब्वियसली जैसे कि हरून आपने बताया है, ऑब्वियसली जब आप डिफरेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में जब आप काम कर चुके होते हैं तब तो ऑब्वियसली आपके पास एक पीछे पे लास्ट बेंचमार्क भी होता है और नेक्स्ट आपको फ्यूचर का भी होता है. ये जिस टाइम हम फ्रेश एफिलिएट्स को या एफिलिएशन के बाद जब मेंबर की तरफ आते हैं, जब हायरिंग करते हैं, तब ऑब्वियसली स्टूडेंट्स मेंबर्स या एफिलिएट्स जो हैं वो कंफ्यूज होते हैं कि व्हाट टू बी गुड, क्योंकि वो एक स्टाइपेंड फिगर से आ रहे होते हैं और एक एम्प्लॉयर को भी कन्विंस करना होता है कि दैट वाज द स्टाइपेंड एंड व्हाट इज स्टाइपेंड एक्चुअली. तो एम्प्लॉयर जो है वो समटाइम्स उसी स्टाइपेंड को ही सैलरी कंसिडर कर रहा होता है. तो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट यू हैव रेज्ड कि इस सिनेरियो में हमें डिस्कशन भी करनी चाहिए एंड नेगोशिएशन भी करनी चाहिए कि अपनी सैलरी को डिसाइड करते हो. सो हारून, क्वेश्चंस जो हमने डिस्कस किए थे ऑल हैज बीन डिस्कस्ड एंड आई थिंक क्वेश्चन बॉक्स के अंदर भी जितने क्वेश्चंस थे ऑल हैज बीन डिस्कस्ड.
Thank you very much. I think excellent session, very very valuable. आपको मेरा नहीं ख्याल है कहीं पर भी किसी और फोरम पे इतनी डायरेक्ट और इंडस्ट्री स्पेसिफिक और इतनी मेरा ख्याल है यूजफुल एडवाइस कभी कहीं और से मिली. इंटरनेट पे चले जाएं, फेसबुक पे चले जाएं, यूट्यूब पे वीडियोस देख लें, ऐसी चीजें, ऐसी एडवाइस आपको जो कि स्पेसिफिक कस्टमाइज्ड है, आई डोंट थिंक इट इज अवेलेबल. सो ह्यूज थैंक यू टू जवाद, अ ह्यूज थैंक यू टू अरसलान. बहुत डिटेल में, बहुत अच्छे तरीके के साथ प्रैक्टिस करके रिहर्स करके आप लोगों को ये क्वेश्चंस के आंसर्स देना सिखाए गए, एंड आई एम श्योर a lot of these answers will be an eye opener for most of the people जो कि पहले interviews देते आ रहे हैं. These are some crucial mistakes that people make, and as a result they're not selected for a particular job. So once again, thank you very much, gentlemen. Fantastic session, really engaging, and I'm sure आप लोगों को इनकी जो tips थी वो एक टिप याद रहेगी. इस सब के अंदर आप ये चीज नोटिस करें कि इंटरव्यू के लिए प्रिपेयर्ड होके जाना, ये सारे डायलॉग्स अपने जहन में रखना, अपनी कौन सी स्ट्रेंथ बतानी है, अपनी कौन सी वीकनेस बतानी है, इसको पहले से तैयार करके जाना, इंटरव्यू में बैठ के सोचना नहीं. सो ये सब वो चीजें हैं जो कि आप लोगों ने आई एम श्योर फर्स्ट हैंड सीखी और आई एम श्योर याद रखेंगे. तो that was I think a very well conducted session. I'm sure all of you will appreciate both these gentlemen for taking time out and sharing their valuable experience with all of you. Before going on or going off rather, I will request all of you. मैं हमेशा रिक्वेस्ट का वर्ड यूज करता हूँ, ऑल्दो इस दफा मैं नोटिस करूंगा कि कौन कौन लोग हैं जिन्होंने ये टास्क परफॉर्म किया है नहीं. बट फ्राइडे को जो सेशन होगा उसमें आप लोगों ने अपने रेज्यूमेज को स्क्रैच से बिल्ड करना है. अब आपके पास इतना नॉलेज अवेलेबल है कि आपने अपना इंट्रोडक्शन कैसे लिखना है, आपने अपनी स्ट्रेंथ्स कैसे हाईलाइट करनी है, ठीक है, आपने अपना एक्सपीरियंस कैसे मेंशन करना है, किन सेक्टर्स में किस तरह मेंशन. सो आप लोगों ने अपना सीवी रीराइट करना है और इस सीवी को आपस में डिस्कस भी करना है, ठीक है. सो इन दैट सेशन ऑन फ्राइडे you have to put up your resume for feedback from other members, and everyone has to inquire, everyone should then ask certain questions, give useful advice, जिसको आपने with a pinch of salt accept करना है. उसको अगर आप अच्छी एडवाइस है अपने सीवी को फर्दर इम्प्रूव करना है. नेक्स्ट वीक में इंशाल्लाह अरसलान का प्लान ये है कि आप लोगों के जो रेज्यूमेज हैं उसमें से कुछ लोगों को इनवाइट करके उनके रेज्यूमेज सामने रख के स्क्रीन पे उनसे इन रेज्यूमेज की बेसिस के ऊपर क्वेश्चंस किया जाएगा और रेज्यूमेज को इम्प्रूव किया जाएगा, ठीक है. सो वंस अगेन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. और अरसलान, हमारे पास रोल प्लेस का भी टाइम होगा, इंटरव्यू रोल प्लेस का.
सर नेक्स्ट वीक में हम देख लेते हैं, उसको प्लान कर लेते हैं कि उसको हम रोल प्लेस भी कर लेते हैं इसमें.
आई थिंक दैट विल आल्सो जी, that will also be something good कि हम 2 इंडिविजुअल्स को सिलेक्ट करें यहाँ पर और उनसे कहें कि आपने अपना 10 मिनट्स का एक इंटरव्यू रन करना है और उसके ऊपर फीडबैक दिया जाए और इस तरह कुछ लोगों को चांस दिया जाए रोल प्ले के लिए, ठीक है. सो थैंक यू वेरी मच ऑल ऑफ यू. आई एम श्योर आप सबने एंजॉय किया, यूजफुल सेशन था. Jawad, once again, thank you, from the core of our hearts. You've always been a very big support, always a very forthcoming industry representative to our members. Thank you once again, and take good care of yourself.
Thank you
very much, and Allah
Hafiz.